Hello, all you Amanis and Lasats. My name is Dakota Hayden, and this is my co-host and dad, Mark Hayden, and welcome to the Scruffy-Looking podcast, the show where we talk about all things related to that galaxy far, far away.
Who's Scruffy-Looking?
So, Dad, we had the privilege. Now, it's been a while now since it's released, but we had the privilege to see the Mandalorian and Grogu movie opening night. Yep. So that Thursday, because it released Friday, May 22nd, we watched it that Thursday night.
Yep.
That's the big ticket Star Wars thing going on right now. What were your thoughts? Like, let's just jump right into it. Because we speculated, or what we were hoping walking into, and I even think I made a short about it on the channel I posted a while ago, saying we were looking for a good time and we had a good time. So what'd you think?
Yeah, it was fun. I just wanted to go and have a nice fun time. I wasn't expecting like Andor, The Empire Strikes Back, or whatever, and I just wanted to go and have fun seeing Star Wars on the big screen again. And it did. It was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Did I think it needed to be in the theaters? No, it would have been perfect as a season 4 or something like that. I still don't think that was the right thing to come back to the theaters with for Star Wars. To me, Star Wars in the theater needs to feel like a big event, and that it was fun. I liked it. But it just didn't like have that oof or something to it. And,
I agree.
And enjoyed it for what it was. I wish it would have done a little bit more to set up something else, or kind of, I know they wanted just to kind of be a standalone movie and stuff like that, and us hardcore fans know other things that are going on and got little hints of things here and there, but it would have been neat to have like a really like shocking something at the end, or like something to make you go, oh, or something like that.
For something we can expect in the future.
Right, yeah. And it just, you had the Imperial Remnant, which kind of ties into the whole Thrawn thing with Ahsoka and all that, so there's little things here and there, but it's, just, I don't know, for the casual fan, when you think Star Wars, you think of the space battles, and I like the thing with the classic X-Wings and Y-Wings and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There's one thing missing from it, which really wouldn't fit in anywhere in it. But I think the casual fan, when they think Star Wars, one of the first things you think of is lightsabers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And even though it had the Force with Grogu, there was no lightsabers in it and stuff. So
it was the first Star Wars movie genuinely without lightsabers.
Yeah, I still think they should have maybe had the first one back be the Starfighter one, something different and fresh, and kind of build up. And then if you want to put like Mandalorian and Grogu in the theaters after you kind of healed the brand, maybe had a big blockbuster come out and it's back, and then then piggyback off of success. Hey, because then you get everybody watching it again, and then people, Star Wars, that was pretty good. Maybe I'll catch up on some of these shows and stuff, and you get new people watching The Mandalorian or whatever. And then kind of, okay.
Bring them back to the big screen.
Yeah. Okay, in between this big blockbuster and this big blockbuster, even if at one time they talked about doing 2 movies a year, or in between if you did Starfighter 27, The Mandalorian and Grogu 28, then the next big thing 29 or something like that, but just to lead off with it, I just feel like it wasn't the right decision.
Yeah.
If I was thinking about it a little bit today, when I knew we was going to film today and stuff, that what could, if they're going to lead off with something, what could have else they've done besides Mandalorian and Grogu that might have gone over big? And I got to you probably could have had enough time to get these people together, and in the time that they did Mandalorian and stuff, might have been better off to do like a standalone Clone Wars movie.
I was just thinking that.
Ewan McGregor open to doing more Obi-Wan. Hayden Christensen's down with doing Anakin more. It sounds like he's signed on to do some more things.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't able to get Natalie Portman to come back, you could still do an adventure where, because she'd be in the Senate or whatever, and you could mention her name or whatever. You could have R2 and 3PO in it. You could have had Palpatine in it, and maybe came up with an adventure set in that time period. Then your generation, would be like, hey, there's Obi-Wan and Anakin again. Yeah. And you could have had, I'm horrible at remembering actor and actresses' names now, but the gal that did the young Ahsoka did an incredible job.
She did a great job.
You could have had her in it, and that you probably could have got all them together, came up with something, and filmed something, and you would have had then you would have had lightsabers. You would have had a little bit of, you could have had. You wouldn't have been able to do Dooku unless, you did like you could still have him off in the back. He didn't have to.
Yeah, not like the major.
You could have used Grievous more. I know Grievous and Anakin couldn't bump into each other or whatever.
But you could play around.
Yeah,
that,
like they already did in the cartoon series.
Yeah.
But and there's other separatist leaders you could have brought in.
Easily. Yeah. I think you're right. I think if they were going to do a big step forward into the movie industry, that would have been great. Because I feel like that era has kind of had a more resurgence as of late. I think because of the people who grew up with it are big into it and stuff. So I think that would have been a better lead off than the Mandalorian Grogu. Because I was even thinking myself, I know when the Mandalorian came out, I would say the Mandalorian and Grogu name had that much draw to it to, at that time, probably would have been good for a movie. But now, since everything's kind of fizzled out, I don't think they have that much draw.
I feel like they waited too long to do it. And probably if he's going to do one sooner, probably should have done it after season 2. Because I think a lot of people kind of phased out after season 3. Because there's things about season 3 I like, but it was definitely weak. To me, you could tell I feel like they made last minute changes to that season or something that just didn't fit. Just the rhythm of it just didn't feel. It just felt like almost like a little bit different show than the first 2 seasons. And I felt the movie felt more like the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Of it. But I wonder too, I know Grogu's pretty popular. And it's funny. I was talking to an old friend the other day, and he said, "Hey, I see there's a new Star Wars movie out," and I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Well, when does that take place in the timeline? Because Yoda's real little in it, so does that take back in the past?" I said, "That's not Yoda." He goes, "Well, that's Baby Yoda." I said, No. So all these years, people still there's casual people that don't realize that's not Yoda.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. I also wonder too. I think I read somewhere that the actor that played the main Imperial head guy, I think his name was Coin. But the person who played him said something that he was originally supposed to do a lot for a Mandalorian season 4. So I feel like that kind of confirms our suspicions on that the movie was kind of like a hodgepodge of what was potentially going to be a 4th season, and they just threw it together after that. I feel like. Yeah.
So, what was your favorite thing about the movie?
Favorite thing about the movie? I know this is probably like a little thing, probably nobody else, but I noticed it. Again, I really liked how it kind of seemed more like season 1 and 2 with like the tone, the attitude of it. One big pet peeve I've had, because we've had a lot of Mandalorian stuff lately, Mandalorian characters. We've seen the armor in so many different iterations. One thing that has always bugged me, whenever the Mandalorian was on the screen or anyone in Mandalorian armor, they just took shots. They just shoot them obviously, the armor does not get penetrated by the blaster bolts, but it's like, okay, Mando is supposed to be this professional bounty hunter, this professional killer. Why on earth is he walking straight into gunfire and taking all these shots? You're telling me that if he did not have the armor, he would have got smoked like that?
Yeah.
So I think in the entirety of the movie, he maybe got hit twice. And that I picked up right away because I'm like, finally, it shows that he knows what he's doing.
He's skilled.
He's skilled. And the armor's there for just protection. He doesn't need it because he's got that much skill. Like, if someone gets a shot on him, it's because they're just as good.
Right, yeah.
You know? Like, that's always bugged me. And, like, you know, I'm thinking with other people with the Mandalorian type armor, I'm like, that's such a minute storytelling aspect that you can use, because you can tell the opponent that whoever's wearing the Mandalorian armor is facing is just as good as that guy if he gets a shot off on him. And so that's always been a big pet peeve of me. So I really enjoyed that Mando kicked a lot of butt in the movie, and he actually seemed like he knew what he was doing. And I thought that was cool. I liked that a lot. I was kind of surprised. I liked Rhoda. I liked his character quite a bit. I thought he was good. It did throw me off a lot that he spoke English the entire time, but I believe it's because of the environment that he was raised in. So I was okay with that.
And that was one of my things. I was kind of like, ugh. And then when you mentioned that, well, he was, you know, raised there, so, you know, he would have picked up what they spoke. So that was, I knew, like, at first, it was definitely kind of jarring. You know, when a Hutt speaks Huttese and then occasionally does English, I'm okay with that. But I feel like, you know, when you think of a Hutt, you think like Jabba, he's always speaking in the native tongue. And so that made sense to me why Rhoda would speak mostly English or Galactic Basic for the lore. Because that was the environment that he was raised in those gladiator pits and stuff like that. So good point. And like I said, that was one of my little nitpicks, and after you told me that, I was like, okay. So that helped write that in my mind anyway. So
I also liked the puppetry. There was a lot of really good puppetry in the movie. There was, especially with Grogu and the Anzillans. I thought the animation, whatever they were doing for that, looked miles better than when we first saw both of those species. When Grogu was in the first Mandalorian seasons, you know, you could tell he was kind of wonky, like doing his stunts and stuff. Looked a lot better in this movie. Same thing with when we first saw, who was the first, Babu Frick. And when did we first see him? Was that in the Last Jedi? Or when did we first see Babu Frick? Was that in The Last Jedi or was that in The Rise of Skywalker?
Last Jedi.
When we first saw him, he was still a little finicky, but I thought they looked great in this movie. So that was cool seeing them, and a lot of diversity of aliens too. That was cool.
Yeah, that was nice to see. Yep.
What about you? What was your favorite thing about it?
Probably overall Embo, seeing live action Embo.
That was cool.
He's ever since they introduced him in Clone Wars, he's been one of my favorite bounty hunter characters, and I was excited to see him, and I thought they did the character kind of justice.
For sure.
I thought they did really well with that. It was neat to finally see Nalhetta in live action.
That was cool.
I kind of wish I liked seeing the droid Gotra thing and seeing the hodgepodge of the droids put together was neat. I would have rather them, instead of like that being their full force, would have been like a supplement. It would have been nice seeing some like Gamorreans and Klatooinians and Baratas and stuff in there. Now it was neat seeing having the Amani.
Oh yeah, the Amani was really cool.
I thought that was just going to be a brief little cameo thing, and seeing how they've actually made them a decent part of the story for that part of it, I was like, well, that's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that was
so
cool.
It was neat seeing those. But I guess it's stereotypical when I think of Hutts. I think of like Gamorreans and all them other guys hanging around there. So maybe by that time period, you know, the galaxy is a little more free and stuff. Maybe all those Gamorreans and all of them are like, we ain't working for you Hutts anymore. You know what I mean? So that's why they had to rely on the droid. I like the droids.
Yeah,
I like
the droids were cool.
hodgepodge, but it would have been kind of neat to have a few of the others in there too. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially if it was like more of a supplemental force, because there's plenty of gangs out there that you could be like, they're hired muscle. And that would have been cool. But I agree with you. I loved seeing live action Embo. I thought they were going to kill him.
I did too.
I was worried about that.
Don't you take out my boy like this. They are just now getting to see him in live action. Don't take him out.
And I can't believe they never name dropped him, because in the entire movie they never name dropped him.
I don't recall him ever saying his name. So
that's pretty wild that they just went through the whole thing like that.
But they didn't. The Empire Strikes Back. They didn't say Boba Fett's name. I don't think you don't hear his name until Return of the Jedi. So you knew what it was by the action figures and the marketing stuff. But they never.
I never thought about that. Yeah. Wow. Huh.
Because Lando's handing him over to this bounty hunter. He doesn't say handing him over to Boba Fett. He just says this bounty hunter. And stuff, so.
Huh. I never thought of
that. Going back to Rada, one of my other, and I know why they did it, because they had to have him move a lot. Why is his arm so much longer than the other Hutts?
Yeah.
I can get him being muscular because he's a gladiator, and I don't know. I don't know if I like how he moved. I get why they did it that way because it's probably easier to do.
Yeah.
It might have looked weird. In all other media, when we see the Hutts move, they're kind of like a snail slug going along.
Yeah.
And they're probably thinking, well, that's going to look weird. Especially since but you could go on with, well, he's muscular, he's in shape all around, so he glides faster or just...
I don't know. I'm back and forth because I feel like he needed to be like that in order to...
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, though. It definitely, the proportions seemed a little bit off because of that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a thing when the Hutts get muscular, their arms grow longer. I don't know.
And they should, how in pro wrestling you have Randy, Macho Man, Savage, or whatever.
Yeah.
They should introduce them in the arena as Rhoda, Stinky the Hutt.
That would have been funny. A little callback there. That would have been good. That would have been good.
And that's one other thing about him too is, for years you and me always said whatever happened to him.
Yeah.
But we always kind of felt Filoni's always good about some point going back and tying up those little loose ends and stuff like that. And he did. Finally,
it was cool to see that. It was really cool to see that. I don't know what's next in store for him though.
Yeah, I kind of. This is telling the stories during this time period. I like it, but then not having Luke, Han, and Leia available to plug in, because even though I had fun with this, it would have been. I think I would have liked it better if they would have. And I think they kind of done it even in the movie. The reason they had to go after him, and you didn't have to. She could mention Princess Leia or General Leia or whatever, but had it where. Okay, and you could still have him been a prisoner, a gladiator or whatever, but have him find out that he had took out a hit on Leia because she killed his father, and so they had to go after him for that. And then it'd been kind of similar to how Padme, they had where they'd gone after Padme.
Oh yeah, and then they had to go after Fett to catch up with her. Yeah.
So that would have kind of neat to tie it into the past or whatever. So
yeah, no, that would have been a cool way to have done that. I don't know what happens to him then, because at the end of the movie he seemed interested in joining the Resistance. So what do they have him do? I guess his name has draw in the crime empire because he's the son of Jabba, but as he said throughout the movie, he doesn't want anything to do with who Jabba was. So
and going back to not being able to use Han, Luke, and Leia. It'd be, hey, Leia visits the base, and he's there, Aldhani base, and he's there, and then have a scene between the two of them would be, well, I killed your father. Well, I'm thankful you did that because I'm not him, and he was awful and all. So there's some
reconciliation.
There's some neat scenes you could. That sometimes I feel like I wish a lot of this time period, since you can't have the live action Luke, Han, and Leia, if they would have done it, and we'll touch on it in a little bit, the animation like Maul, if you did stories filled in this time period with that, where you could use Han, Luke, and Leia, might have been a better idea because you could make it a little more deep. You know what I mean? So they give you more options on tying things together and stuff like that. Where now you kind of got tippy toe around it and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I agree.
what was your least favorite?
My least favorite part about the movie. I'm trying to think back. It's been a minute since we watched it, and I'm trying to think back.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that like really jumped out at me, and I was like, I absolutely did not.
Yeah, because I think
so it's probably a good thing. Maybe I can't think of something off the top of my head that I was just like, ooh.
Anything but little nitpicks. I mean, like, it was just fun.
Yeah.
So that was it was really cool and it was nice to enjoy. So I don't think there's really anything heavy that would have been like, no, that part I could have, done without.
I appreciate the little homage they did to Carl Weathers above the door.
Oh, yeah.
And
that was cool.
It would have been kind of neat when they showed him coming into Navarro. You could have had the back of somebody looking off the balcony and had somebody like do a stand in and had IG-11 standing there too.
Yeah.
I see where there was a scene where IG-11 was supposed to be in the movie and they deleted it.
Gotcha.
I saw like a still from it where he was at one point supposed to be. That was kind of interesting seeing him and Imbo like square off, but then how do you have that in? You can't kill off IG unless that's a joke. Like IG-11 just keeps getting killed off,
and they build them back. Yeah. This is IG-11A. This is IG-11B.
Then you're going back to the old legends, the Tales of the Bounty Hunters, and there was an IG-88 A, B, C.
Yeah.
One of them was the one that you see in Cloud City. That's where when the Ugnaughts are tossing around C-3PO and there's a destroyed one. That was one that we got taken out there, and then another one got taken out here. And then I enjoyed a lot of those Tales of stories, but then you had where the final IG-88 somehow had his brain put into the second Death Star.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like, okay, they kind of lost me at that. But
kind of got a little wild there. Yeah, what else about the I thought for a minute there, and it was really kind of like convincing me for a solid bit there, I thought they were going to kill off the Mandalorian.
Yeah, they did a good job kind of making you wonder if that might happen. Yeah.
So I thought they did a good job kind of like, doing a little tease there that could happen, but I didn't think that they'd pull something off like that.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, would they? And I was like, but then where do you go with Grogu then? You can't just have him wandering the galaxy like that, that little. I mean, if he's like a teenager or something, well, he could be a teen. I mean,
he's 50,
but,
so.
I don't know where he would have went.
Yeah,
with him.
It was neat, like the little homage to like Yoda. When Grogu was doing his own thing, he had his like little staff that he had, and then he built that little hut that looked like the one from Dagobah.
Yeah.
So that was neat.
Yeah, I'm always a sucker for battle scenes with like X-wings and Y-wings and stuff. So I love that. It's always awesome when like the sunset when he's coming in. The sun, and that just really I was like, I really like that a lot. So I hope we see more of that Aldhani base and stuff like that. That was. I was a little disappointed we didn't see the B-wing that was sitting there.
Yeah, didn't see that one in action.
It was nice seeing them in action at the end of Skeleton Crew. It would have been nice to see that in there. So we don't and I loved as a kid growing up, with the original toys and stuff like that. They had those mini rigs for your action figures that were like more affordable little ships and stuff. It was supposed to be like just off camera vehicles and stuff. And they brought one of those back and made it the escape pod thing
I thought that was
for
cool.
the AT-AT, that INT-4.
Yeah.
That was neat seeing that in live action.
That's a fun way to tie those in.
Because I had that as a kid. So I hope they do that with some of the other ones too. Those were always kind of fun little what if things.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That was cool that they did that.
as a collector of the figures and stuff, that was kind of like some of the first expanded universe stuff is
Yeah,
those little vehicles. So and they had it was called the Cap. I can't remember the rest of it, like CAP- was it 2 or something like that? But it had like claws in the front. The guy like stood in it, and it had like little claws in the front, and then the back feet had suction cups, so like I could stick it.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
could stick it to the refrigerator and stuff like that. So that was always fun. Then it had a little like clamp thing in the back where like you could capture prisoners in the back of it and haul them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. I'd like to see that one in sometime in live action.
Yeah,
I
that'd be cool.
I do like when they do those neat little things that it doesn't like. It's not jarring. Well, they put this in here just for that, but it works. Hey, we need something for him to. Oh, hey, we got this design from way back. So I do like those.
It's nice when they tie them in.
Yeah, I
makes sense.
appreciate those little nods and stuff like that. That's fun. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was cool that they in the Gladiator ring when they introduced all those creatures from the Dejarik board from the Dejarik game from A New Hope. That was really fun to see.
Yeah, and then the 2 did the exact same body slam thing.
Yeah,
like
the animation from in the game.
So,
yeah, that was cool.
It was neat seeing how the floor was
Looked like a board,
the game board and stuff like that. I thought they did a good job with those creatures. I thought they seemed like they moved pretty good and all that. Yeah, it was pretty neat. So
yeah, I was wondering about that because even in A New Hope, when you see those creatures on the holo table, they definitely limited by the technology of the time to make them look a certain way. But I thought they matched them really well with their CGI because those guys I don't think were puppeteered at all. I think those were 100% CGI and stuff. But they did a really great job like doing like a 1-to-1 transfer and they looked really good.
Yeah, I thought they looked really good. And I liked how this Razor Crest, I like how they gave the story of somebody who restored it.
Yeah.
And it was just basic. If he would have got in it and it would have had a carbon freeze thing and it would have looked exactly the same in the inside, would have been like, okay, this is convenient. But at least it was like, okay, that's cool. It was like, I kind of liked the nod to, okay, it was like somebody was like an antique car collector, but this person collected and restored antique ships, and we got
and
all of it. Yeah.
He had to actually go and like override controls and stuff to
modify it. So that was cool.
Yeah.
I liked how they handled that.
Yeah,
and they did show the N1 sitting there. So
so he's got both of those now. He's starting to get his little fleet together.
He just doesn't have a house.
Yeah, his house is destroyed now.
So I guess it'd be. I wonder if they'll come up with some way to have the N1 attached to the Razor Crest. So, it'd be interesting to see where they go with them from there.
Yeah, do you think this was a good enough send-off to be like, I know, like, Grogu at the end of the day is a little moneymaker. Even if he's not as popular as he once was, I think he still brings in that kind of pull.
Uh-huh.
Do you think this would be a good stopping point to, like, just... They're done. They're taking a back seat now. Like we know what they did. Like they know we know of them and in their spot in the galaxy. But now they're like, I guess you could say retired if you wanted to, and we just don't really see them again because we've heard, or you've told me that they've pulled bringing Mandalorian into the fray as like there was supposed to be a bunch of series that lead to this big culmination. Yeah. And Mandalorian's no longer a part of it.
Yeah, that's what I heard, that they kind of removed him from that equation. I don't know. I think if they would have just left, if you were going to be done with him now, instead of doing this, you should have, even though season 3 was weak to me, if you would have had him sitting down at the house there at the end, watching over Grogu, would have probably been the best way to, if he's going to end it now,
that is true.
Would have been. Now, I think I read where that scene, they originally wanted him to have his helmet off, and you see Pedro, and he's sitting on the porch, but he wasn't available to film it, so they had to leave the helmet on. But especially if you would have showed his face and him just sitting there watching him, that probably would have been, for now, would have been a decent, good way just to
send off,
be done with him for now.
Yeah.
Maybe someday have him pop back up again. So.
Well, what do you do with him now? I mean, besides, I guess just a hired gun at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. What do you do with him now? So, And what do you do with Grogu? Like you said, they're going to want to keep using him. Mm-hmm. Well, what do you do with him now?
Yeah, I'd be curious how they utilize the characters moving forward, especially into further on projects and where they go from there.
I've got the best way to utilize them. Let me write it. I got the story. It'll throw everybody for a loop.
Oh yeah, you give a little taste. I believe we might have heard this little story you got.
You have a story in the future where there's a mysterious dark side, something going on with the dark side of the Force, and you have whoever the Jedi at the time or whatever, be out hunting for it, and all of a sudden you see a Yoda species, and you're like, could that be? And have it be Grogu, and at first you think he's with them, but it turns out he's the source of the dark side, that he turned to the dark side, and then you can reveal back that something happened to Mandalorian that made him turn to the dark side.
That'd be so good, though.
Just think, they'll never do it, but that would be that if you kept it under wraps that you was doing that.
Yeah,
it would be. Nothing will ever equate the "I am your father."
No, but that would come close.
But if you have one of the Jedi in trouble or something like that, and then have him like he's helped, and then have him, his expression turn dark and be like, "Oh no way!" and then have him like with lightning and start taking him out. What the heck? What happened here? What happened to him and stuff like that? I think that would be awesome.
I think that would be too. Yeah. They don't got the guts to do it, but that'd be so good.
Yeah, that would, and then have him be like the main bad guy for a while. Yeah. I'm sure they got a plan for him. I hope so.
I would hope, but yeah.
Even if it's a basic outline of where we're going, I feel that's sometimes lacking with them sometimes. Well, hopefully that was under previous administrations.
Yep. We will find out.
Yeah.
We will find out.
And I'm starting to hear like rumors of the Starfighter now too and stuff of that, kind of what that story is, or like the outline, the basics of it and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. Open mind. I hope they got to nail that one because it's the 50th anniversary.
Oh yeah, they really do.
If that one is a dud on the 50th anniversary, I just
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Thought they did a good job with Zeb. Zeb looked good.
It was cool. I always say it was cool. I really need to change up my vocabulary. I like seeing Zeb, and he looked like in action. He looked like just out of like he would have been the Rebels. And I thought I liked that a lot, and I liked seeing his rifle and turn into like that electro staff and stuff. That was cool. That was cool.
And then we've mentioned before, I like seeing those remnant snowtroopers. It's
that was
like
cool.
The mask part of it, or the like cloth part of all and stuff.
Yeah, I never would have thought.
I thought that was neat and stuff. So
for all the people that do those 501st armor replicas and stuff like that, that's going to be, I'm sure, a game changer in that field, because I've seen the helmets that they do for snowtroopers and they're all one piece. Like, to make it even more screen accurate, you take off the little flap and have it like magnetically attached. That would be nice.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. So like we said, it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Nothing earth shattering, but it was what they call it, a good popcorn movie.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it garnered it because it got a lot of flack after it came out. I feel like, and I don't think it was really deserved. I don't know what people were looking for. Maybe people are just tired out of the Mando and Grogu, or maybe it wasn't promoted right. I don't know.
Yeah, I just, when we've touched on this in past episodes and stuff, there's just so much toxicity in the fandom. You're always going to have those people that no matter what, I think that's just what they thrive off of. Is it's not the movie I would have done. It's not. There's other things I would like to see. But it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
It didn't hurt me or anything. It was fun. You didn't see him when Mandalorian got his new disintegrating rifle. He didn't hold it and throw it over his head and walk away.
Hint. Oh. Did that come out? Oh, good.
And we didn't see Grogu drinking colored milk from any of the
Yeah.
arena aliens or anything. So yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good. It checks the boxes, you know.
Yeah. Somehow Rhoda returned. Yeah.
I'm sure some people are saying that. Like, where did this guy come from? Well, I guess better than what we theorized happened to him, where he got eaten by like a cola clawfish or something.
Yeah. But you know, now it raises the question. I just happened to think of this that Colonel Ward says that he was the last surviving offspring
of Jabba the Hutt. So he had others.
Where are the other ones?
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe
If there's a new TV series, The Hutt Bunch.
The Hutt Bunch. All about the Hutts.
Yeah, that's a different. It's a story.
We're the Hutts.
Until the cousin Hutt comes into the story, and then it jumps the shark.
Well, that's going to wrap things up for this episode. If you liked it, be sure to show us by liking the video down below. And if you'd like to keep up to date with us, please consider subscribing and following us on Spotify and Instagram. And until next time, may the Force be with you.